Hello and welcome to episode 3 of LOOGY. I'm your host, Zach, here with Jack and Andrew.
Hello.
So the Metsies were 3-3 this past week with 4.8 runs scored per game and 3.6 allowed per game. Standing still first place, 4 games ahead of the Nationals. Had an exciting win against the Yankees this week. Did anybody watch any games? Anything stand out?
Yeah, I watched a few. The Mets have been doing this thing recently that I don't know if you guys have noticed or seen them ever do this before, but they're hitting singles and it's working. They're just getting hits. They're moving the line along and they're scoring, and it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, I have noticed a different approach. I think that, they're calling this team at bats. When you're not batting for yourself, you're batting for the team. So we have seen guys go the other way against a shift. Lindor wants to show everybody what a great team player he is. He's laying down sacrifice bunts of all things. And
Yeah.
it does seem to be a slightly different approach here. Considering no one's really hitting a lot of home runs, it's probably a smarter way to go right now.
Dom Smith is hitting better this week. What's his name is back? Old rat face. What's his name? McNeil.
McNeil. Yeah. I mean,
McNeil's
Nimmo
back.
obviously has been a big impact, leading off, getting on base, setting the table, because despite what everyone is saying about, we jumped the gun on bad-mouthing Francisco Lindor, he's still batting only 219. So
Yep.
I don't think anyone's jumped the gun on him yet. I don't care what anybody says.
You're defending the fact that you jumped the gun.
I didn't jump the gun. I just told it like it is. And then he hit a couple home runs and people are like, oh, I don't know. I saw somebody texted something like, "Oh, everyone should be eating crow," who was, being bad mouthing Lindor. But here it is, a week or two later, and he's still only batting 219.
Yeah, I mean
So
he's not
just stop it.
obviously he's not an all-star yet, but
No,
yeah, I'm just joking around. He's doing
no,
fine, but not as fine as we'd like him to do.
Not $30 million fine, but
No, definitely not. He's turning into a Jason Hayward out there. He better be careful.
Ooh, oh my gosh, that's like the ultimate insult.
I mean, is it totally
No,
incorrect though?
it's too early to call him a Hayward, but he certainly is.
I mean, I didn't say he was a Hayward. He's turning into one.
He's showing symptoms. Absolutely.
once he gives a big speech that leads us to a World Series, then he can be a Hayward.
That's true.
The guy's famous for one thing.
It's nothing he's done on the field.
There's nothing on the pitch. That's right.
He was just on the team when a championship was won, which is
He was on the team, and a rain cloud came by at an opportune moment. That's what happened.
Hey,
Look, I'm happy for him. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not too happy with him, but it's
There were
fine.
a lot of. I think the thing about him is there were high expectations. He looked like a 5-tool guy, and it's always fun to see 5-tool guys play, but he ended up being like a 2.5-tool guy.
Anyway, thoughts on the week? Taiwan Walker, Edwin Diaz, all-star snub, not making it onto the team. What do you guys think about that?
Which one? Both of them?
Sure, both of them.
Andrew, what do you think about that?
I would have liked to see Walker make it. I've been very impressed with what he's been doing. He's got a He's got a 2.44 ERA. It's hard to think that there's too many guys that can make it above him. Diaz, on the other hand, I mean, he's been great in safe situations, but there's a lot of good relievers, so that one I can live with.
Yeah, I mean, the way the All-Star team is formatted now, everyone has to have when you have to have a player from every team, it's never, someone's gonna get left off that should have made it. So, whatever. I don't know who else made it over him, but
yeah, Andrew, do you know who made it over Taiwan Walker?
I honestly didn't look too far into it. I mean, there were obviously pitchers that deserved it over him, like Gosman and Rogers from the Marlins.
I mean, as we discussed, though, Gossman. I mean, if the All-Star game was the end of the year, you don't think he's making it?
I wouldn't think so. I think it's tough. He did have another good start. I think he gave up like 3 runs, but well, I'm trying to think which start is which. One of his starts he had a no-hitter going for a while. So it wasn't really helping my case, but I think eventually it'll turn on him. But I have the starting pitchers here. It's Corbin Burns, Yu Darvish, Jacob deGrom, Kevin Gausman, Herman Marquez, Trevor Rogers, Zach Wheeler, and Brandon Woodruff.
So some of those are reserves, I'm assuming?
Yeah, those are just all the ones that are on the roster. I mean, I'm sure they'll all pitch maybe an inning. Maybe some of them won't.
Some will not pitch, that's for sure.
Yeah. Darvish, that one hurts for me, Cubs fan. Traded him away, and obviously we suck. So, oh no, he just left, I think. But what about the DeGrom starts this week? There was one earlier on this week where he gave up 3 but struck out 14 in his worst start of the season. He strikes out 14. That's pretty good,
Somebody
I
had a home
guess.
run against him in that game.
Yes.
And then 2 solo home runs he gave up today. So what you're seeing is the only way you can score off this guy, because you can't piece together hits against him. You can't
Right.
build a big inning or even a quasi big inning against this guy. You need him to just make a mistake, and you need somebody to capitalize on that mistake, because there aren't going to be many mistakes. So, what can you say? Except that he's going to give up a long ball here and there, but no one's piecing together a big inning against him, or any decent number of runs or hits, etc.
I agree. I didn't see anything that was too foreboding about the way he was pitching. He's pitching the same.
Yeah.
I mean, when your guy's pitching 100 miles an hour every pitch, all you got to do is throw the bat out there, and once in a while you get lucky. So,
So yeah, we are to be encouraged by his continued success, especially coming off, a couple of injury scares. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when
encouraging.
the horrible start is 7 innings, 3 earned runs, and 14 strikeouts,
Yeah.
you'll take it.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's anybody else's pretty awesome start. So the guy is just, you always got to keep in mind. What else? Who we're comparing him to? We can't compare him to his other starts. We got to compare him to the rest of the league, and he's doing fine. So in other MLB storylines, we got Sal Perez, Juan Soto, Joey Gallo, and Matt Olson making the home run derby. Last week, me and Andrew did a little mock home run derby where we predicted that only out of these 4, Joey Gallo would be entering, or who we would like to enter. So at least we got Joey Gallo in the mix, huh?
Yep, we got Joey Gallo. I had brought up Matt Olson. We didn't have him in our
You
final
did.
4.
You did.
But it was at least 2 guys we mentioned. I'm extremely excited about Joey Gallo because I kind of figured he just was never going to do it because he had never done it. Like he's had this reputation of being a huge home run hitter for years now. So I kind of figured if he had never done it, there was going to be no opportunity. So I'm very excited to see him, especially at Coors Field. I think it will be awesome to watch.
Yeah, he's going to be sending them out of the park. I think he and Shohei are probably my favorites to win the thing.
Yeah.
I picked him to make the final in our mock one, so I think him and Shohei are going to be my favorites again.
Well, I'm just going to take Pete Alonso because this is a Met podcast, so I'm taking Pete Alonso.
Yeah, defending champ. Can't go wrong with that.
And I don't know half the other guys that are playing that you mentioned. So, as old guys, we don't keep up with some of these things the way we used to. So,
well, that's the point of the podcast. We're trying to get you more in line with the new stuff, and
No,
you're gonna.
it works out well. You guys can dominate the new stuff discussions, which is great. And I'll chime in with little I know, and half the time I'll probably be bullshitting, but who can tell? Anyway,
Alright. How much bullshit can you give me on Shohei Ohtani? What do you know about him, Dad?
I heard he's a pretty good pitcher and a pretty good hitter. He plays for California. I'm in bed by 10 o'clock. I never get to see the guy.
Well,
I
he
regret two guys that I regret not seeing enough of would be Mike Trout would be one, and I was a big Ichiro fan, only because of the kind of player he was. He could. I love
an
guys with
Asian player.
speed. I love guys who can throw and bat for average. But I again because they're on the West Coast, we don't get to see those guys too often, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So Otani, until he goes free agent and comes to the East Coast, I'm just not going to see that guy play very often.
Can you imagine Shohei Ohtani on the Yankees or something?
Well, yes, I can imagine that, but a lot of times those Japanese guys don't want to leave the West Coast just because it's longer flight home and longer getaway.
That's interesting. I mean, the flight is only 3 hours longer or so, right?
5 hours, four and a half.
I mean, what if he comes to Chicago?
Well, yeah, then it's only 3.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I think he should come to Chicago.
What about DeGrom
And
missing the All-Star game? Is that part of the discussion today?
is he missing the All-Star game?
I
we
believe he said he's not going
we
at
don't
all.
know now because since the rain delay yesterday, his start got pushed back a day, meaning he's probably not going to pitch again before the All-Star game. So he technically could pitch in it, but I think he shouldn't. I don't think he will. I think he's smart enough to know that it's not worth it. He should just rest, get healthy. Hopefully the Mets will tell him the same thing. But I think now
so.
the way it worked out, he technically could pitch.
I don't think I think he's not going to go. He's a smart guy. He is the one who determines whether or not he can pitch or not. He is the one that determines whether he will go past the 5th or 6th inning because he knows his body. And from what he's been saying all along, he has no desire whatsoever to go out there and not only not pitch, but not even be there. And of course, as a Met fan, he has my full support to completely miss that exhibition game.
Right. Yeah, I have no problem with it. He's already proved himself. He went, I don't even remember what year it was, struck out the side in the All-Star game. That's enough for me. I've gotten to see him pitch in it once.
Yeah. So good for him. Don't go. And then we get some players back and a few players start hitting. Well, Michael Conforto, please start hitting again.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And everything will be fine. Unbelievable.
All right, Andrew. Today is July 7th, 2021. What else has happened today in history?
Well, speaking of the All-Star game, we had one. This is July 7th, 1998. Jeff Shaw became the first player to participate in an All-Star game wearing a uniform for a team he had never played for. He pitched an inning for the National League before he ever appeared in a game for the Dodgers because he was traded 3 days before the All-Star game from Cincinnati to Los Angeles.
Interesting.
So he got traded at the break.
Yep.
He didn't play yet, but he
And
pitched in.
He pitched in the All-Star game, so he was technically a Dodger for the All-Star game, but he had never actually pitched for the Dodgers.
Interesting, because he obviously got the All-Star vote as a Red.
Yes.
who were probably having another fire sale since they probably were in last place.
Probably, yeah.
So that's why he was traded, I'm sure.
Wow, that's shocking that he wouldn't be wearing the Reds uniform. Like, is that written in stone that he has to wear the uniform of the team he is currently on?
Well, yeah, I would think so.
Well, that's just odd because he's never worn the uniform before. The first time he wears it, and I think did they have like custom uniforms back then for the All-Star game like they do now?
No, They were
No,
wearing
probably
their
not.
home uniforms or their
Yeah.
away uniforms.
That was when the All-Star game was actually good and it looked cool.
Yeah,
Back then, did they? So they all wore their own uniforms. One
Yeah.
team just wore their aways, and the other team wore homes.
that is correct.
Ah, interesting.
That's usually how it went most years. Yeah.
So do you think today it would be different, or do you think it'd be the same? Because now you wear like a similar uniform to the team who's hosting the game, but you have like a patch or something like that, right?
Yeah, like a patch and a different hat.
Yeah, and a different hat. You always wear your actual hat. But the uniform is like based on like this year it'll be like a weird Rockies uniform.
Yeah, it's based on garbage this year. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is a
Oh, I
disgrace.
haven't seen it. It's terrible.
Yeah, let me find a picture real quick.
I like the
Oh,
Rockies like
Lordy.
vests. Like I know the Rockies and I think the Diamondbacks sometimes wear vests
All
instead
right,
of
so
jerseys. I like those.
tell me how
Yeah, let me see this.
that
Send
that
it in the
this
chat.
makes you think of the Rocky Mountains.
Oh,
What
dear
the?
Lord have mercy.
What is that? Wait, what is the
Colorado,
C?
COL
Oh,
is Colorado.
COL. I thought it was CUL. I was like, Cole?
So they all going to wear COL with the team emblem over the
Oh,
COL?
No, so
wow.
that was just for Colorado, but the next one I sent is
Oh, I see.
It's ball.
the,
It's ball for the O's. It's boss for the B. What the? This isn't in any way like it used to be.
You're,
Like when
you
this isn't like
yeah.
any uniform. This is a totally new uniform, just with a customized
You want to
thingy.
take a guess why?
yeah, it's got to be
So
the
that
Atlanta thing, right?
They're going to sell all this shit.
Oh, well, that too.
They're gonna make $1 million selling that crap.
oh,
That's all it is. Just marketing.
Andrew, you were thinking about how it got relocated.
Yeah, so they had to like
Yeah,
scrap their Atlanta design or something.
that could be it. But yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody might want a personalized jersey like this. Like it's
Yes.
in no way representative of the All-Star game. It's just based on your team.
Right.
It's really
Yeah.
weird. I like the white ones better at least. I'm glad the NL's wearing white.
The blue ones do look like a softball uniform,
Yeah, the blue ones are pretty rough.
like a T-shirt uniform that I wore in the old industrial league
Yeah.
in '91. It's terrible.
Can we pull up
But
your stats from 91 Industrial League? Is
you know,
that on?
the only thing that you'd see different back in the day in the All-Star game is some of the players would wear would wear white spikes, white cleats, rather, which they didn't normally wear as part of their normal team uniform. So that would be fun to just see them wearing white cleats. But other than that, they'd be wearing their standard. I was just watching the '86 All-Star game on MLB Network yesterday while the Mets were in rain delay, and it was that was pretty interesting to see some of the guys wearing white cleats. But that was the only difference.
Were they not allowed to wear white cleats before then?
I think it wasn't part of the team standard. Some teams wore white. The Oakland A's probably did, but yeah, it wasn't part of the standard team uniform, so you couldn't wear the white. But the All Star game, that was their opportunity to break out and wear white cleats. So,
Now you can wear whatever cleats you want, I think, anytime.
oh, I'm sure you can.
So I don't know if that would be much of a difference wearing white
Hmm.
cleats. So, Jack,
Yes.
obviously these uniforms bother you. What else is bothering you this week?
Well, it's not. Well, I got like a long list of things bothering me, but I won't go into it
Just
too
give us
much.
a couple. Save
Okay.
them. You gotta
I've
save them.
already mentioned Lindor still only hitting 219. I have discussed this with a few people. I don't know if I want to get into the split DH right. And the split designated, sorry, the split doubleheader is an absolute crime against humanity for one simple reason, one major reason. There's a lot of reasons, but as Andrew and I had discussed this earlier in the week, when the Mets had to play a doubleheader, when they played a doubleheader on Sunday.
It was July 4th.
Yeah. Okay, so the game got rained
Sunday.
out Friday, and it got moved to be game one on Sunday. So let's say you've bought your Met Yankee ticket back in March, and let's say you paid $99 for it. because you got a decent seat, not a great seat, because that would be $300. So you got a decent seat at $99. And first, you're upset because the game was originally going to be at 1 o'clock, and now I got moved to 8 o'clock or 7:05 rather for ESPN. So you're already pissed about that. And now you're also pissed because it's only going to be a 7 inning game. You paid $99 for a 9 inning game. So logically, you should get a $22 refund because you're getting 2 innings less. It makes no sense to do this to fans who are paid for a ticket anticipating a 9 inning game because it ran out earlier. And also because the game one started late and went long, you probably stuck in traffic waiting for all the people to leave game one before you could come in and see game two because it is a separate ticket. So I think that's a crime. And the thought was, well, COVID, we're going to limit exposure, so we'll just do 2 7 inning games. Well, the thought wasn't that okay. You're having a split doubleheader. You think the players are going home to limit their exposure to other players between games? No, they're just hanging out in the locker room, bullshitting, eating food, waiting for game two to start. So any reason or any rationale there were for making the split doubleheader 7 innings, there is no rhyme or reason to it at all, in my opinion. And they're just taking advantage of the fans, and that should definitely be that's a crime. It's just a crime. And I have not read or heard a lot more about this topic. I don't know. I haven't seen the outrage that I feel over this. So maybe it's out there, but I haven't seen it. I'm sure someone else has written about this or complained about this. So anyway, okay. Only other thing I want to discuss tonight, I guess, is going to be because I need you guys to weigh in on this and do your research. What is James McCann doing when he adjusts his protective cup between every pitch? You guys know anything about this? Have you seen him? And this is when he's batting.
Yep.
It's like part of his routine. Players have their little tug on their batting gloves or maybe hitch up their pants or something. This guy presses down on his protective cup as part of his pre-pitch routine. Boys, tell me something about this.
Well, if you want me to check out James McCann's adjustment of his package, I'll do extensive research if that's what you want. I'll try to get an email or get in touch with someone who can tell me, get in contact with him, because you know what, that is interesting frontline news that we need to be on top of, honestly, on this podcast.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a thing that is just, I'm watching it with the wife and I get a little embarrassed.
Right. Like, is this guy,
thinking,
you know what they say, one shake is for, making sure it's all out. 2 shakes is for pleasure. So
right.
if he's touching it a little too much, whoa.
I mean, is he sending a message to my wife that, hey, you should check out my package compared to your husband's? I mean,
that's
what's
true.
going on here?
Is he trying to make a play on all the women Mets fans out there saying,
yeah,
are you satisfied? Is this a commercial? Is he saying, are you not satisfied with your husband? Come down to McCann's auto shop and I'll fix you right up.
Okay, I'm going to Google it right now. McCann crotch grab. See what I come up with.
Yeah, see if anybody else is as interested in his package as you are.
No, I don't see anything. Okay, here's a Met website question.
Met website, huh?
Yeah.
You want a Mets refugees?
The official Mets website?
Yeah, it's like, why is McCann grab himself? No answers on that one yet, though.
Really?
Okay. All right, trivia question.
All right.
You Quattlebaum. First of all, I would never hire a guy with the name Quattlebaum, just for the record.
Okay.
It just I think it gives bad vibes for the whole
That's
team.
pretty namist.
And not for nothing, but the team BA's down 15 points that they hired this guy. Okay, what is Hugh Quattlebaum's lifetime minor league batting average?
Can I look it up?
Go ahead. 241.
Oh, I was gonna guess.
4 seasons he played, parts of 4 seasons. He batted 241.
So why is he the hitting coach? Is that what you're
Well,
asking?
you can guess why he's the hitting coach.
Nepotism.
No, come on.
Because he grabs his crotch a lot.
No,
Andrew, help me out.
Andrew,
You're the
you
smart
should know
one.
the answer to this. Why would Hugh Quattlebaum? Why? I don't even know if this is true, but I'm guessing it could only be this reason. Hugh Quattlebaum is our new hitting coach. He's something Chili Davis wasn't. I'm sure the guy is an analytics metrics genius.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Guys probably knows all the ins and outs, all that shit.
He's a
And
front office guy
so
for sure.
he's going to be our hitting coach. The guy that has a lifetime batting average of 275 and 16 major league seasons. No, not him. Hugh Quattlebaum. I mean, can he even put the name? Does his name even fit on the back of his shirt? Anyway, all right, I'm done.
Bottle bomb, huh?
Quattlebaum.
Spell it.
You know who's got the worst uniform names if for long names?
Who?
If you ever see the Red Sox, they don't use
Oh.
skinny letters when they put the player's name on the back. So,
Yeah.
who's the Italian left fielder they got? Benedetti?
Oh.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Benintendi.
Benintendi.
His name
Yep.
starts at his left cheek, goes around his thumb, and ends on his right cheek.
Yeah,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's like the sunrise.
Use skinny letters with long names. Come on.
That's the last thing that's bothering you this week. What's
Yeah, that's
bothering
it. I'm
you,
done.
Andrew?
I'm done.
Well, this isn't this week. This is every week, but the MLB replay system is just so horrible, and it's just a shame for a professional sport to have something this bad. I don't know if either of you guys watch the Mets Yankees game where it was Brandon Nimmo was up, hit a ground ball past first base. First baseman fields it and races Nimmo to the bag, and they call him out. They both, step on the base at the same time. The Mets immediately challenge because they clearly saw from the replay that he's safe. We have a nice long review, and then, the announcers are talking as if the safe call was already made, that it was so obvious, and then they come out and they call him out.
Yeah.
And
Gary,
I just don't understand how. Yeah, Gary went on this whole rant about the replay system, and I agree 100%. It is so bad, and there's no point to have replay if you're consistently going to get it wrong on obvious calls.
I did see that play, and what was interesting was on all the replays leading up to the call, you could see the depression on the bag of Nimmo's foot beat the depression on the bag of, was it Voit?
Yeah, Luke Voit.
But finally they showed an angle like perpendicular with the baseline, and from that angle it was extremely clear that Nimmo's foot is already down on the bag. And so I agree with you, Andrew. I don't know if this is. I think what would be interesting to know are most calls going against the offense. Because there does seem to be, we talked about possibility of baseballs being doctored to limit ball flight. But this could be part of a larger effort to decrease offense in the major leagues right now.
So I have another conspiracy theory that me and Gary share. And basically it's that the umpires, well, first off, when they go to review, the people that are in New York are also umpires. It's just a crew that has the night off from umpiring a game, and they're in the booth. And I think what's happening is umpires are seeing the writing on the wall that they are slowly being phased out of the game because they just get so many things wrong. So I think it might be a conscious effort to get some of these replay calls wrong, so people start questioning, do we even need replay anymore because it's so bad? And then if we get rid of replay, it's back to the umpire makes the final call and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hmm.
Because soon enough, if we more and more towards replay and replay gets better, there's no point having umpire at first base to call safe and out because we can just automatically do it. I think they're saying our job is in jeopardy. So we need to basically prove that this replay system sucks. And,
Well,
and we might get to keep our jobs.
I could definitely see some validity in that. There's no question, because as Phil Mushnick writes in the New York Post, on any close play, why is the umpire even making a call? His call should be a shrug of the shoulders. I don't know. Because what's the difference what he says? Because every play is getting reviewed, as we all know, because immediately the guy upstairs for the team is looking at the replays and then giving a thumbs up or thumbs down to go ahead and do the appeal or not, which means every call is being reviewed by somebody. And I think that's a valid point, Andrew, because it does seem silly at this point for the three base umpires to be out there at this point. I mean, what's the difference? What they call. Everyone's looking at it. So that's an interesting theory, and I'll go along with that one. I'm on board with that.
All right, I got a couple of things to say about this, about these conspiracies. First of all, very interesting. It feels almost like we're talking about politics instead of a sport that we watch for fun. Like it seems like a gray area where things don't really depend on what's good for the sport. And to go off of Jack's opinion that every call, like if it's close, you shrug your shoulders. Sometimes the only thing I have against shrugging your shoulders if the call is close is sometimes, I mean, video is not perfect yet. Sometimes it is bang, bang. Even in the video, it's so close. And during those calls, you need to say, let's just go with the gut of the umpire. You know, the call on the field stands, that kind of thing. Because sometimes it's just too close to call, even on video. So I think the umpire's position at this point in the technological advancements of the game is still important. I still think you need umps for certain aspects of the game, just for those bang bang calls, though. Because if it's too obvious, obviously overturn it. And I think that is a great point by Andrew and Gary, that it is kind of suspicious that the umps that are off on that night are sticking up for the umps that are calling the game that night. But I still think you need the umps to make those bang bang calls because it's not perfect yet. The computerized version of calling the game is not perfect.
Yeah, well, I think so. I have two things to say about that. First is I've always thought that with this current replay system, we should almost have something. If the guys in New York don't know after a minute, just stick with the call. Like, we don't need to be sitting around for 5 minutes wondering what they're even reviewing, because 99% of the time we don't even know because there's no way for them to tell. So sometimes they go to review and we're just sitting there waiting, and we're just adding time to the game where everyone's just standing around doing nothing. Like if it's not clear, at this point just stick with the call.
Right. If it's bang bang, stick with the call.
And then to your other point where it's not perfect yet, that to me is just a failure on the sport completely. Like, with where we're at with technology right now, it is so easy to get a few really good cameras that are just aimed right at first base, aimed right at the bases, a few different angles, have them all synced up. And it should be so easy, but we're still getting these calls wrong even with video because maybe the angles they have are really bad, or I don't know. I just think we have good enough cameras that it could be so easy to just get the right call all the time.
At which case, I was going to say, in which case you can rely on the gut call of the guy looking at replays.
Yeah,
that's why I'm disagreeing with Zach in that the gut call can come from the guy look at the replay. You don't have to be the guy in the field, which I don't want it to be that way, but you might as well have it that way.
Yeah, but if it's close, like Andrew's saying, if it's close and it's taking a minute, go with the call in the field. So like if it's that close where it's, I mean,
Well,
like
that
Andrew's
guy,
saying, they miss calls where people in the audience can see it. People watching at home can see it. That's the issue. The issue isn't people at home are, questioning the call. Like if it's close, if a call is bang bang on replay, everybody at home knows it. But sometimes a call that you see at home is so obvious and they get it wrong still. That's the real issue. So, I mean,
well,
there's
but
still.
why are they getting it wrong is the issue. I mean,
Right, right.
I
And
mean,
that's, I think, what Andrew's talking about is I think it probably is the fact that some umps are trying to make this. I mean, it's a conspiracy, but some umps are trying to make it seem like this replay is not perfect.
well, Andrew, that
Because.
should be a task for Andrew to go back and see what are the no really reversal percentages the last 3 years, let's say, compared to this year so far. It would be very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
This all goes back to two incidents, really, I guess. The '85 World Series, Don Deckinger, you can Google it, missed a humongous call at first base, Royals versus Cardinals '85 series. And the other one is the Jim Joyce call at first, the perfect game
Right.
that the Tiger pitcher had. If without those two errors, we may not be having this discussion.
Yeah.
Because I think that Jim Joyce call really said, there was some discussion, but that was like, to me, that's put it over the top. That was,
Yeah, the Jim Joyce one was the turning
all
point.
right, let's do replay.
Yeah.
But it's
They
it's
haven't
not
really
worth
gotten
it.
it right yet because people at home can still tell when people got it wrong,
And we
which
have
is
the
the
same
issue.
discussion in football with replay too. So, is it even worth it? In the end, who gives a shit, right? I mean, who cares? Deckinger missed that call in '85. Okay, the guy Joyce missed the call at first on the perfect game. Well, what a beautiful moment, and some beautiful moments we got out of that.
Yeah, well,
Honestly,
the only reason people care is because they can see it so clearly at home now.
yes, that's true.
That is the issue, is that
That's
people can
true.
see it so like back then it wasn't that big of a deal because I mean
Oh no, you could see it in '85. You could
yeah,
see
I
it
mean
very
in
clearly.
'85 apparently the way you're describing it, you can see it clearly, but
Oh yeah.
it's more and more obvious every year the different camera angles people have. It's come to a point where the umps are on thin ice, and it's a tough job. So they got
Yep.
to perform to their best.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready for a quiz, old school, new school style?
All right.
Andrew, defending champ, 1-0. Let's see if he can hold his crown this week.
Not
You
feeling
guys,
confident.
you guys are both gonna text me the answers to these questions. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
All right.
Jack, it's gonna help both of you and Andrew if you don't talk about the answer you're going to submit to me, okay?
All right.
But do whatever you want. All right, 2017 World Series runner-up. What team lost the 2017 World Series?
I don't even know who won.
And Jackie B puts it in the Discord. He says Giants. Andrew says Dodgers. The correct answer is Dodgers. So 0 points for Andrew, 0 points for Jackie
Did
B.
you say 2016 or 2017?
2017. Either way, you were wrong though, so
Oh,
it's okay.
shit. All right.
All right. Next question. This is old school. 1949 World Series runner-up. Who lost the 1949 World Series? Andrew, I know you know this one.
I was just watching it the other day.
All right. You guys both guessed the participants of the 1949 World Series where the Yankees beat the Dodgers.
Oh,
The
Yes,
Brooklyn
that's
Dodgers.
exactly what I typed.
So it is still 0-0. Jack, guess the Dodgers. stays at 0. Andrew gets the Yankees. Very close, but no cigar. We're moving on to the
How are you close?
2015.
You're not
What?
close. If you get it right or wrong, it's not a close answer.
Well, he guessed the right team. You guessed the Giants in the last question, and they weren't even in the World Series. So,
All
all
right,
right.
fine.
Moving on. 2015 Rookie of the Year. 2015 Rookie of the Year.
Which league?
National League.
Oh well,
That's a really good question, actually.
do I get a point for that?
No,
2015, David Wright? No, wait a minute. Is that right?
I think that's 2001.
Can you tell us what team he was on?
No, defeats the whole purpose.
Oh, okay. I got it.
And you both get it right.
No
Chris
kidding me.
Ryan.
I only
Hey,
guessed
all right.
because I figured you might be a Cub. That's why you were asking.
Yeah, I mean 2015. I thought that was one that people would know, so I asked that one. So I'm gonna ask another one that both of you should obviously know. 1962 MVP of the National League.
I'm guessing.
All right, good guess.
Really?
I mean, we'll see.
Pretty sure I'm like 10 years too early.
Yes, you are around 10 years too early, but Andrew with Joe Morgan, Jack with Willie Mays. Correct answer was Maury Wills.
He stole 104 bases that year.
Who did he play for, Dad?
Dodgers.
I think he was on the Reds.
No, Maury Wills stole 104 bases for the Dodgers in 1962.
All right, we'll look
However,
it up.
the Giants won the pennant and lost to the Yankees in 7. Willie McCovey made the last out of the game. He lined out to Bobby Richards.
You're right, 1962 LA Dodgers. Why do I question you?
Yeah.
All right.
Maury Wills.
It is now tied 0-0 once again. 2013 World Series winner.
Oh crap! Come on. I was in rehab in those years.
Look,
Come on. Oh.
but you were still alive during those years, so I have to ask these kind of
I
questions.
drank so much vodka, I had to go to Wolfschmidt. I couldn't afford the good stuff anymore. 2013
2013, Dad. Come on, you can
World
put a
Series
good
winner?
guess in. Yes, World Series winner. Dad, you're disappointing me on these
I've told you I'm in rehab in the 2000s.
on these old ones. No, you guys are both right. Boston Red Sox, 2013
Yeah.
World Series winners.
Another great guess. Thank you very much.
Oh God. So Jack takes a 1-0 lead here. Coming into the last question. How many games was the 1909 World Series? You got a 4 and 7, a 1 and 3.
1909.
Got a 1 in 3 chance. 1 in 4 chance.
Why would you ask that question?
Because I just picked a random World Series and had said how many games was it.
Games? Well, who was in it?
You tell me, bud.
I should know. Oh,
You
I know
tell
who
me.
it was.
And how
I know
many
who it
games?
was. Detroit Tigers were in it.
Yes, and who else?
Pittsburgh?
Yep, that's right. This is all for 0 bonus points. But you got them right. That's pretty
And
impressive.
this was the classic matchup of the two greatest players of that era.
Uh-huh.
Name the two greatest players of that era.
Ty Cobb
versus some people
Clemente.
say he was better than Ty Cobb.
Honus Wagner.
Honus Wagner is correct.
Nice.
And it went 7 games.
Jack, you are correct. You win 7 games. Andrew guessed 6. So, Jack, you are this week's winner with 1 point.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Congratulations.
much.
The series is 1-1.
Very impressive.
You love a good tight series. Well done to both of you boys.
And Hans Wagner outplayed Ty Cobb in that World Series, much to the delight of almost everybody in America who hated Ty. Everyone hated Ty Cobb.
Because he stabbed that guy?
Among other things.
All right. Should we do a question vault question this week?
I mean, if there's one that you like, if not, we can skip it.
Let's do can we do Andrew's outfield throw theory?
Yeah, we can. I'm
Is
a
that
bit.
or is that better for another week?
No, we can do it. I'm a bit sad about this one because I was one night just thinking, like, is there any situation where it would benefit a fielder to throw the ball out of play on purpose?
Mm-hmm.
But turns out the people who made the rules know what they're talking about. I thought maybe there would be some, ball hitting the gap and you want to throw it out to hold the guy to a triple or something, instead of an inside the park home run or something like that. But what the rule is if an outfielder throws a ball out of play, the runners get from two bases from where they were. So say they were rounding first going to second, but they hadn't touched second yet, they would be put on third. But if they had already touched second and then it goes out of play, they go all the way home. So I went
Okay.
back and I watched a huge compilation of inside the park home runs to see on average where was the runner when the outfielder got the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And
Probably coming around third.
yeah, they were like on either around third or on their way to third.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I have yet to find an application of that theory. But one of these days, I'm going to find a loophole to an MLB rule. But the throw out of play rule is pretty airtight, I think.
Solid, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, that didn't pan out, but do you have any diamonds in the rough for us this week?
I do. I do have one. I didn't have one up until yesterday, and I started hearing about this really cool thing. So it's pitcher for the White Sox, Carlos Rodon. He's a guy who was a top prospect a couple years back. He's was always on the White Sox, but he kind of struggled. And this year, he's put up some really good numbers. And the main reason for that is his four seam fastball is the best fastball in baseball right now, according to run value. But the really interesting and kind of crazy thing that he's doing that no one really does in modern baseball, at least, is as the game goes on, he starts throwing harder. So I went back and looked at his start from last night, and the first inning, his average four seamer was 93.5 miles per hour. Then second inning, 94.9. Then 95.5, 96.9, 96.4, and then the sixth inning he was averaging 98.4, and he ended his outing, I want to say, on a 101 mile an hour fastball to get a strikeout on his 104th pitch. So I know like pitchers in the past have done this, but no one really does it now. Everyone kind of just goes all out to start the game. So by the time they're at that third way through the order, they begin to struggle because they're not throwing as hard. And that's when guys get taken out now. But he's kind of doing the opposite where he's throwing harder later in games. So it's almost like there's a reliever in the game because the batters haven't seen this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still, his third time through the order stats are still worse than first and second, but they're a lot better than most pitchers. And I would imagine it's because of this. But I just thought that was crazy because I don't really know of anyone else who's doing something like that.
Well, give me that pitcher's name again, Andrew. I'm going to keep my eye on this guy.
Carlos Rodon, Rodon.
Steroids.
That's what I was thinking. Our discussion earlier with your talk of it lets you recover shorter amount of times and
I think this could be a topic.
be stronger.
I think this could be a topic. Possible steroid user based on numbers. You know what I'm saying? If we have a guy that all of a sudden is performing above any previous expectations, we have to put him on our potential steroid user list.
All right, Carlos Rodon, first on the list.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Brandon Crawford, shortstop, Giants.
Ah,
He's
interesting.
34 years old,
Yes.
and he's still a shortstop, which
Right.
is pretty amazing. This year, his lifetime BA is 250. This year, he's batting 275.
Mm-hmm.
He's only once hit over 20 home runs in his career with 21 in 2015. He already has 17 this year in a year which we're seeing less home runs. And he's already got 55 RBIs. He's stolen 6 bases and has not been caught yet. So Brandon Crawford is on my suspected steroid user list. Any guy hitting at 34 years of age is suddenly having his best career as a shortstop. I'm going to put him on my list. Thank you.
That's a good call. I agree. Um, I've always liked Brandon Crawford pretty decently. He's always been a good player.
Good hair.
But you know what? Great hair,
Yep.
good style, good shortstop.
Yep.
But you know what? You might be right. You might be onto something. He's a little too good this year.
We're going to keep our eye on him.
All right. Time to test your knowledge, Jack. We're going to test your knowledge. I'm going to say 1968.
Well, that had to be Bob Gibson 112. Unless you
What?
have something else. Bob Gibson's ERA was 1.12 in 1968. Is that what you're going to ask me?
No.
Okay, go ahead then.
I'm just saying random numbers and random things. I'm going to
Uh-huh.
say 1968 NLCS loser.
There was no NLCS in 1968. The
What?
first NLCS was the first NLCS was in 1969, won by
What?
the Mets, sweeping the Braves 3-0.
No way. Get out of here. How many
Yeah.
teams made the playoffs back then?
There were no playoffs in 1968.
So no, in 1969 I mean, just two?
Oh, 69, yeah, 2 teams made it. You had in 69 they added in the national. Let's just talk nationally. In 69 they added the Expos and the Padres, and then they split the 1 10-game league. One 10-team league became 2 6-team divisions.
So
So
there's only
until
12 teams?
yes, and until 68 there were only 10 teams. In fact, well, we won't go. I won't bore you with any other details other than that.
68, 10 teams in the league or 10 teams in each
10
league?
teams in each league, and whoever won the pennant went to the World Series.
So there's only one division in each league.
That's correct. Now let me ask you a question.
Wow.
You
Okay,
play
sure.
162 games and you win 107 games. Should you be forced to even have a playoff and play somebody who only won 88 games in a 5-game series? Does that make any sense? I just played
No.
162 games. I won 106, and now you're asking me to play some shit team who only won 88 in a best of 5.
Yeah, but if they're in a different division, then you have to think about it because maybe that division was better.
Nah. 88 wins versus 108
All
wins.
right. How
I
about
shouldn't
this?
have to play anybody.
What if the Mets won more games than the Padres and the Dodgers this year, but both teams only played their division? Do you think that the Padres or Dodgers wouldn't be worthy of playing the Mets and going to the World Series?
Well, okay, no, that's different though. And don't forget, when you played this 10-team league, you played a balanced schedule. You played everyone the same amount of times.
In both leagues?
No, there was no interleague play in 1968.
No, I
You
mean,
played
once there, when were there two divisions?
when 69 went 2 divisions. Yes, you played. I think you played 18 against your own division and 12 against the other.
Okay.
So, I mean, don't forget the only reason you split this stuff up and you have playoffs and you have is for money. It's the only reason any of this happens.
So it makes money how?
Well, I got 12 teams in the playoff. We're gonna have, I don't know what's it gonna be this year. 10 teams in the playoffs.
So it's just more playoff games get like
Exactly.
the more playoff games there are, the more ratings you
Right.
get.
And then you draw bigger crowds if you're fighting for the wild card position, perhaps, whereas you normally would be out of it. I mean,
But do you think that adds the enjoyment for the fans? Like a team that wasn't the best all season gets a chance to still win the championship. Do you think that has any value?
As a purist, I have to say no. Well, the value is obvious. The value is obvious. More fans are interested, more teams are in it, more games are played. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But there's a real impurity of it to it. It's a real
Yeah.
impurity to that. Now, it's easier for me to say that having remembered when you had one league, 10 teams, and balanced schedule. You're the best team. I've over 162 game schedule. You're in the World Series. Case closed.
Mhm.
Now, it made for when the Yankees were dominating the American League in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, winning the pennant by 12 games. It made for a very boring September, I'm sure, for people who were alive back then. But at least it's a purity to that. The
Yeah, I
best team
guess.
goes to the World Series, not, okay, I got to get through two other shitty teams just to
Right.
get to the World Series after I won 108 games this year.
Like, what if you
So, anyway.
smashed the East, the Central, and the West all together and made them play each other an equal amount of times? You'd only
Yeah.
need the regular season for the NL, the regular season for the AL, and make them play in the championship.
In
I mean, that makes sense.
I think it was 1955, the Dodgers and the Yankees both won the pennant. They played the World Series from October 1st to October 7th. They played 7 games in 7 days because there was no travel involved since it was Brooklyn versus Yankees.
Uh-huh.
And that's the way it was done back then. You were done by October 7th. It's a beautiful thing.
All right, who is in? I'm going to ask you this last question for your testing your knowledge. You've obviously shown that you know more than I do by knowing that there wasn't an NLCS in 1968.
Yeah.
So who was in the 1934 World Series? What two teams?
34 World Series was the St. Louis Cardinals defeating the Detroit Tigers, and the
And how many
Cardinals,
games?
I think that was a 7-gamer.
You're correct.
And that was the Gas House Gang with Pepper Martin, Frankie Frisch, for playing for the Cardinals. That was a team that ran wild over the Tigers. They took extra. Slaughter no, I don't know if he was there yet. Anyway, Pepper Martin, Frankie Frisch, St. Louis Cardinals, Gas House Gang.
Dude, sweet names on this team. Pepper Martin, 11 for 31 in the series. Ripper Collins, 11 for 30 in the series. Tex Carlton, that's a cool name. Dizzy Dean,
Dizzy
3
Dean
for
won.
12. Wow, awesome name.
I think he won 30 that year.
This is some of the coolest. Dazzy Vance.
And Dizzy Dean's brother wasn't Daffy Dean?
No way.
Yeah, his brother had a crazy nickname.
Dizzy Dean and Daffy Dean. This
Yeah.
is one of the coolest teams I've ever seen.
We also missed the
Chick
name that
Fullest.
he said, who might not have been on that team. Eno Slaughter. Awesome name.
Eno Slaughter. My gosh.
I don't think
Who
he
did
was
he
there
play for?
yet. He was at
He
the
played for the
Cardinals, I think, in
Cardinals
the
too?
40s.
He wasn't on the team here. It doesn't show him on the list.
Okay, Dizzy did win 30 games that year.
Oh my goodness. The Tigers have a guy named Goose Goslin. That's a cool name.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
You got General Crowder on the Tigers.
All right, I just thought of a new segment that we'll do. I'm gonna come up with one fake name and one real name, and Zach has to tell me if it was a player.
Oh,
or not.
I'm telling you, there's some crazy names out
There's
there.
a guy named Schoolboy Rowe.
Preacher Rowe. Preacher Schoolboy Rowe.
Schoolboy
Yes.
Rowe. Jojo White. Frank Doljak. They really, back in the day, they really were just like, just call me whatever you want. All right, and now let's get to the worst umpire of the week with the Joe West Award. Andrew, who was the worst umpire this week?
So the worst umpire this week, we have our first ever 2-time Joe West Award winner.
Woo!
This week is
Take
Doug
long.
Eddings again. Yeah, only took 3 episodes. He won week 1 and week 3. He had another rough game. This 86.6% accuracy, 91.3% consistency, and 18 incorrect calls. So,
Wow.
Not a great day from Doug Eddings.
It's terrible.
Doug is headed towards a possible firing. This is pretty atrocious again.
I know.
The strike zone it's not like a lot of pitches he missed weren't really close. Some of them were really out there. He was really giving the left side pretty heavily there.
We'll do the Bill Clem Award. Got our best umpire of the week.
Bill Clem, old catfish. If you called him catfish, that was a way to guarantee you get yourself ejected from the game. Yeah. Germany Schaefer is a good nickname to give. Germany Schaefer is famous for stealing first base.
Who?
Germany Schaefer in forget what year it was, 1910 or so. He stole first base.
How many times?
Just once. He stole second, and then he got all pissed off because there was somebody on third, so he stole first on the next pitch. And then he stole second again. And then I think they changed the rule after that.
How do you steal first?
He just run back to first on the pitch. The next pitch, he ran back to first.
Oh, he ran to first from second?
No, he was on first. He stole second. And there was a guy on third, and he was just bored, so he ran back to first. And stole second again. Yeah, from second. Yeah. You can look that up sometime. They changed the rule. They changed the rule after that.
Wait, why? Why would you not?
The guy was he was a real character.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be pretty easy to steal first from second because everyone would rather you be on first, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get to the best umpire of the week.
Best umpire.
Who really showed their stuff this week?
So we got a guy who has the name to rival Hugh Quattlebaum. The week 3 winner is Shane Livensparger. Or maybe Livensparger. He had 96.8% accuracy, 97.2% consistency, only 5 wrong calls. And he's got maybe 1 bad call. The rest of those are pretty borderline. That's a pretty good game, though.
He's living barge.
I would have just said he's living larger.
Living larger. He's living larger.
Shane living larger. I mean, congratulations.
Congratulations, Shane, living larger.
Your $5 Applebee's gift card is in the mail.
Yeah, baby.
Congratulations, man. That's a close game. Every call counts. Good for him. I know his family is very proud of him.
Get a potato skin on us, Shane.
Yeah.
You thank us later.
I don't think the $5 can cover all you can eat apps, but I mean, it'll definitely dent the cost.
Uh-huh.
So congratulations to Shane Living Larger, our Bill Clem Award winner of the week. And now it's time to get to our role player draft, the moment we've all been waiting for here today.
All right.
Does everybody know the statistics that their players have accumulated this week?
You sent me something.
I did send you something. If you don't want to look at it, if you can't comprehend it, we can just tell you.
I can comprehend it? What's wrong? What, you think I'm stupid?
Well, I think you're technologically...
You think I'm from the hills of North Carolina? Come on.
Well, you're currently living in the hills of Virginia, so I don't know if that's much further off.
I'm pretty damn close. Okay, I see my guys.
Still Confederate.
I see my guys. I tied for first in this thing.
All right, let's calm down. All right, Andrew.
No.
No,
I want something. I'm not going to calm down.
Andrew, how many home runs did Shohei hit this week?
This week, Shohei hit 3 home runs.
All right, 3 for Shohei. Fernando Tatis, how many home runs did he hit this week, Jack?
I'm looking right at it. He hit 3.
He hit 3?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, I don't know.
He hit 2.
You just have to say that you don't know. You don't have to lie.
I don't know. I'm looking
at
You
don't have to lie.
All right.
Vladdy only hit 1, so we have a winner this week, and it is Andrew.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Shohei. You are a 2-week winner. Great pick. Base stealer, Acuna. How many did he steal this week?
Big fat 0.
You love to see it. Whitfield, how many did he steal this week?
You mean
One?
Merrifield?
Merrifield, sure.
I don't know. I don't know how many he stole.
He stole one, right, Andrew?
Correct.
Back me up on that. Trey Turner stole 2, baby!
Huge week.
So wait. Also, we have to go back and acknowledge that I lost the first round, so I have to take a half a shot of Canadian Hunter. Because last week I made the claim to try to get my guys inspired that every category I lost, I would take half of a shot. So we're doing it.
Why don't you just take a whole shot? What do you mean a half a shot? Who takes a half a shot?
Because I was scared that I was going to lose 7 again because I lost 7 last week and I don't want to take 7 shots. I'll take 4.5.
That's true. You suck.
Plus the 9 beers that I've had now. I don't need to drink 7. I think 4.5 is fine.
You better do an extra push-up tonight, drinking 7 beers.
Oh God, shut up.
Next. What's next?
Walkers, serial walkers. How many did Max Monkey have this week? I think he might have won again.
He had 6.
Or actually, not again. He lost the first. Nice,
Who's
6
behind him? Who
that's a
bats
winner.
behind him? Mario Mendoza? Who's batting behind that guy? Pitch to him.
On the Dodgers, let's see who would bat behind him. You got the third baseman, old ginger beard.
Hey,
Could
got,
be Will Smith. Could be.
Will
well,
Smith's a great actor.
I'll look at it offline.
All right, Mookie Betts. How many walks did he have? Jack, do you know?
No. Is that my guy?
Yes.
Oh, shit. How
All
many?
right. I will check for you.
He had 1.
Betts only had 1 walk this week, Dad. Pretty pathetic. You know, that's even worse than what my guy had. He only had 2. So, Mook lost. Diaz. Yandy Diaz had 2. Max Monkey loses. Another half shot for me. Here we go. This is disgusting. All right. Strikeout batters. Javi Baez. How many did he have this week? King of strikeouts.
Yeah, the King, unfortunately, only had 5.
Wow, great week for him.
Very good week.
All right, Gallo. I think he might have won this week. How many did he have?
He had 10.
Ooh, putting up Javi numbers. El Mago. There you go. Randy only had 3, I believe.
Who do I have in this?
You had Joey Gallo. Congratulations.
Oh,
you
yeah,
won.
baby. Oh,
Just
yeah.
so you know. Just so you know, you won.
Another victory.
And yes, indeed, Randy only had 3 again, putting up the same numbers he had
I
last
should get
year.
a bonus point for 10 strikeouts.
But you get negative points for not knowing the name of the person that you picked for that category.
You didn't send me that.
Well, you actually picked it. You were here. All right, Garrett Cole. How many strikeouts did he have this week?
6 again.
6 again. Zach Wheeler. How many did he have?
9.
That's my
9.
boy.
Wow. Shane Bieber. Duplicate of last week with 0. Really impressive from Shane again.
I got Wheeler, don't I?
From the bench. Yes, you won that category. Good job. So that's another. Actually, I think I missed.
I am destroying.
I missed 2 half shots, so that's a full shot for me there. Hold on, boys. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to pause while my team punishes me. All right. On to the Johnny Walker. Nick Pivetta. How many walks did he put up this week?
Only 2.
4. John Gant.
Also 2.
Oh,
Zach Davies.
Gant.
Also 2.
What?
Wow. Crazy. I thought Zach Davies last week. I proclaimed Zach Davies would start twice. He only started once. Bad pick by me. I should have won this round. I will go ahead and pour myself another half shot Even though I didn't lose that one. Did I say
I-
for everyone I don't win or everyone I lose?
But did I win overall?
No, you tied. You're not
Again?
listening? No,
Second week in a row?
it's not over. There's one
Oh.
more round to go.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
1, 2.
Send this to me, will you? So I know what I'm looking at.
You dummy, you have it. It's on the Google Doc.
Okay, go ahead. Go
All right,
ahead.
Auntie DeGrom. Who earned the most runs this week?
My Auntie DeGrom, she was a
no,
sweet lady.
All right. I never got to meet her. That's interesting.
No,
All
you
right.
never did.
Brad Keller, how many runs did he give up?
After a stellar week of 10 last week, he only gave up 2.
Good job, Brad. All right. Mike Fultonevich gave up 4, I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
4 again from last week. Gave up 4 last week, 4 this week. Dylan Bundy, I think, only gave up 2 again. Is that correct? Bundy gave up 2. Yep. All right. So we may have a winner this week, and I think he comes in the form of an old geezer.
Really old bastard.
Jack, congratulations. You won.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
3 out of 7.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm on fire.
Well, did you win last week?
I tied for first.
All right, we have to discuss the tie last week. How do you think it should be decided? Do you think there should be we should count up all the numbers that we put up to decide the tiebreaker to see, whoever got the most points, or do you think it should be who do you think we should have another random category that's only in play during tiebreakers?
I think the oldest person wins ties.
Well, I think that's pretty biased, so I don't think
we can't. We'll figure that out.
I think we should figure it out right now. That's why I'm asking you.
Send me the. I don't.
Do you want to count it up so you can see if you won or not?
Yeah, basically, I want to see
what. What do you think is fair?
Yeah, whoever got the most.
Whoever got the most points.
Wait a minute. Is the most? Is every category won by whoever had the most of something?
Yes.
Oh, then just add up the numbers, and whoever had the highest number wins.
Sounds good.
All right, you lost week 1 then.
That's a bad rule.
All right, well it's 1 to 1 to nothing then. So this week we all get to decide if we want to trade one guy off. I lost this week again, only winning one category. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jacob deGrom as my strikeout pitcher.
Yep, that's what I was going to do.
Just because Shane Bieber was honestly the biggest waste of space on the entire board, honestly. I mean, obviously, for the past 2 weeks, he's got 0 strikeouts the past 2 weeks because he's been hurt. My lack of baseball knowledge has betrayed me, but I'm going to go ahead and get a new strikeout pitcher, and I'm going to pick the best strikeout pitcher in the game. So
for
Andrew,
the next episode, does DeGrom start today count? Because normally we go Wednesday to Tuesday.
No,
but we all know he pitched today and got like at least 10 strikeouts.
Well, he would count, yeah.
Oh, no, bullshit. You can't count that now. You can't pick a guy who just had 10 strikeouts.
Well, why not?
Yeah, I was thinking
No.
result we all already knew that start won't count.
Fine. That's fair. That's
Okay.
fair. You know what?
Right.
I'm confident that he'll put up enough numbers for me to not worry too much about him in the future. So that's fine. Even though I could have got 2 starts out of him and easily won that category. I'll have mercy on you fools.
Thank you.
Because mostly because though I think it's a good rule, not because you're fools.
Okay. That's fair.
I know it's fair. All right. Andrew, who you picking?
All right, I'm going to replace the bum Garrett Cole.
Good one.
With my diamond in the rough, Carlos Rodon.
Ooh.
He's 3rd in the league in Strikeouts per 9 innings. But he's got a decent amount of innings pitched. So yeah, hopefully he'll be all right.
Good pick. Good pick. Steroid
I like
user,
it.
but good pick.
Yeah.
I put a star. I'm putting a star next to everybody who's been replaced, or the amount of time a position has been replaced. So, Jack, do you want to replace anybody? Or are you going to keep this winning team you've got going?
I'm red hot. I'm red hot.
You're not going to replace Fernando Tatis, who only has 5 home runs in the past 2 weeks, unlike my guy who has 4.
No, he's gonna get hot. He's gonna get
I
hot.
agree. All right, great by both of you guys this week. I
you.
think the only thing I'll ever win is probably base stealer. So unless Jacob DeGrom, unless we want to count this Wednesday.
No.
Okay, all right. On to music of the week. Did everybody listen to Moving Pictures? That's what it's called, right?
Yes.
Rush, Moving Pictures. Everyone listened to it, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Thoughts? Anybody want to start on thoughts?
Jack?
I can start.
Yeah, you guys go ahead.
So this album, personally for me, has one of the best starting noises of any album. Like the first initial sound you hear on the album is one of the best starting noises in an album you'll ever hear. It's like a cascading,
very dramatic
synthy noise, and it's like it sucks you in, and then it comes in with the drums. The beginning of Tom Sawyer is a great beginning. It really warps you. If your eyes are closed, it warps you into whatever dimension the artist is trying to put you in. And I think it sets the album up for success. And all the songs have great guitar, great drums, great synthesize use. It's just a good all-around rock album. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yep.
What'd you give it?
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it as well. Obviously, already knew Tom Sawyer and Limelight. Yeah, I thought basically everything you said. I thought the guitar was great, drums were great. It had probably my favorite ever. Well, I don't listen to very many songs that don't have words. There are a lot of Rush songs with no words, and I think YYZ is probably my favorite song with no lyrics. It's just a song that I never wanted it to end because I just loved it. I was just jamming out. I listened to it so many times this week. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, YYZ has crazy guitar. It's crazy instrumental. It's very good. But Red Borchetta, I think the second song, it reminds me a lot of your music, Jack. It reminds me a lot of music that you like.
Well,
Cars.
one thing that's interesting about this record, it came out in 1981, which was when the Cars first album came out in 78. And so 78, 79, 80, new wave was becoming very popular. A lot of synthesizer, techno, pop type stuff was coming on board. And Rush did something that most hard rock bands failed at, and that was to incorporate some of that synthesizer, new wave sounding things into what had been historically a hard rock band. But these guys were talented enough to pull it off and make what ended up being their greatest record ever. So kudos to Rush for incorporating some of the sounds of that day and doing it massively successfully, which again is a testament to the talent of the band. That's the bottom line. Because other bands tried to do this and failed miserably and sounded like total shit. And people were like, "Oh, why did you even try to make an album or a record like that?" But again, it's just the talent is what comes through with this band and this record in particular, in my opinion.
All right, we're gonna go to ratings. Anybody want to give it a rating out of 10?
Well, I have to give it a 9. It's a classic.
Yep, I was gonna go with a 9 as well.
I was gonna give it an 8.25.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't
8.25.
know we could give decimals into the quarter points.
Yeah,
So
you
I'm gonna
have.
change mine.
I think you have to give it into whatever
I'm
point you
gonna
want.
change mine
I
to
think you can go to.
9.25 then.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think you should
Thank
give it
you.
at least to the millionth decimal.
All right.
So you can go pretty deep. You can go 8.6945839.
I give it a pi. Next.
Well, that's pretty poor. All right. So the album I'm picking is an famous underground rapper. Don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. His name's
Becky D.
MF Doom. Capital M, capital F, space Doom.
Got a
The
capital D.
capital D, lowercase
All right.
OOM,
All right. Thank you.
lowercase Okay.
All over it.
The,
Yeah.
the album's label or title, some might call it, is Mad Villainy. MADVILLAINY. Mad Villainy.
Now, there aren't any like parental warnings on this record, are there?
There should be. If there's not, I should be disappointed. I've heard a bit of this album. I like it. It's got a bit of a old school like cartoon vibe to it. It's got like old cartoony what's it called? Tidbits. You know what I'm talking about.
All
Samples.
right, gotcha.
Got
This you
bits,
said
got like
vaudeville villain. You said
Mad Villainy.
Ad
I,
villainy is the name
I
of the
even
record.
spelled it out. Mad Villainy is the name of the record. It's created by a producer named Madlib and a rapper named MF Doom, famous for being the biggest villain in underground rap.
Well, who's the producer?
So
I'm sorry. Say the producer's name again.
Madlib. Remember Madlibs from writing Mad Libs in the car,
Yeah.
fill in the blank. His name is Madlib.
Hmm.
So I encourage you guys to read along with the lyrics. I've heard MF Doom is one of the most lyrical rappers of all time. I I know that Jack is familiar with the two first, or at least the artists within the two first albums we listened to, so I'm trying to expand his um musical taste a little bit with this one, as well as my own and as well as Andrew's. I feel like this is a decent pick to expand all of our knowledge of music. And it's acclaimed. So if you have a problem with it, take it up with the acclaimed people of the music world,
Do you know when this album was released?
2004. It's 22 songs, but it's only 46 minutes long. There's a
Okay.
lot of 1 minute to 2 minute songs. Like there's not like the longest
Oh,
song I think isn't 4 minutes. I think the longest song is just under 4 minutes. So it's not too long to listen to. It's a lot of like interesting samples and interesting beats along with apparently good rhymes.
hmm.
Good bars. So see what you guys think. I'm interested to find out myself.
All right. Very good.
All right, so I think this wraps up our third episode of Loogie. Thank you guys for joining us and see you next time.